There's a place in the Midwest, 50 miles southeast of Chicago, nestled near the coast of Lake Michigan. It's a place driven by what's coming next, a place where industry is the lifeblood of its community, and its pulse is gritted with sand and steel, fire and smoke. It's a city building its future together, one business, one family, and one home at a time. This is a place for makers, doers, and dreamers. It's where the global marketplace meets hometown values, where Americana isn't just a tradition, it's a way of life. Here, your experience makes the difference. With access to railroads, major waterways, and 8 different highways, this is a place in motion, sending goods, services, and ideas not just across the state, but across the world. And when the work ends, the day's just beginning, with beaches like West Beach in the Indiana Dunes National Park, exciting hiking and biking trails like the Diana of the Dunes Dare or the BMX track, and local treasures and exciting festivals, you'll know you're in more than just a bedroom community. From veterans of foreign wars to hometown heroes, our diversity is our strength, and we forge our future with the same flame as our steel. Oh, there's a place in the Midwest, and it's calling you home. The best part of Portage is what's next. The best part of Portage is you. There's more for you in Indiana. There's a place in the Midwest, 50 miles southeast of Chicago, nestled near the coast of Lake Michigan. It's a place driven by what's coming next, a place where industry is the lifeblood of its community, and its pulse is gritted with sand and steel, fire and smoke. It's a city building its future together, one business, one family, and one home at a time. This is a place for makers, doers, and dreamers. It's where the global marketplace meets hometown values, where Americana isn't just a tradition, it's a way of life. Here, your experience makes the difference. With access to railroads, major waterways, and 8 different highways, this is a place in motion, sending goods, services, and ideas not just across the state, but across the world. And when the work ends, the day's just beginning, with beaches like West Beach in the Indiana Dunes National Park, exciting hiking and biking trails like the Diana of the Dunes Dare or the BMX track, and local treasures and exciting festivals, you'll know you're in more than just a bedroom community. From veterans of foreign wars to hometown heroes, our diversity is our strength, and we forge our future with the same flame as our steel. Oh, there's a place in the Midwest, and it's calling you home. The best part of Portage is what's next. The best part of Portage is you. There's more for you in Indiana. There's a place in the Midwest, 50 miles southeast of Chicago, nestled near the coast of Lake Michigan. It's a place driven by what's coming next, a place where industry is the lifeblood.
I'm going to go ahead and start the Sanitary Board meeting. I'm going to pound the gavel because I have to. Will you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Could you call the roll?
Mr. Gore?
Here.
Mayor Bonta?
Here.
Mr. McAlpine? Attorney McClure?
So let's see, we've got approval of minutes. Did you have a chance to take a look?
I did. Motion to approve the minutes for the December 5th meeting and the December 19th meeting, special meeting.
I will second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
That gets us to our staff reports. Who wants to go first?
You can go.
I guess Tracy's going first.
Ladies first.
Well, there's not a whole lot going on in the plant. So we're doing cold weather maintenance, making sure everything's okay, no pipes freezing, all that kind of stuff. So we're on that right now in the plant. big rainfall, we did great. We brought in about between 4 and 5 million gallons, so we did really good on that. Let me see what else is going on. So we met today, so we've got a lot of projects going on for 2025. And one of them is a professor came in, and they want to do several projects with us, but the one that I'm excited about right now that they brought up to us was using AI to train our operators. So they're going to take in all of the information we have and process it into the computer, and AI will, when they come to them and say, we have this problem, it'll spit out, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Have you done this? So, and they're using us as the first in the nation that they're going to try this on. And they're hoping to make it nationwide after they complete our plant. So I'm really excited about this. We're in the beginning stages of it. They're going to give us more information, but he plans on being all of 2025 at our plant working with us. It'll also help a new employee understand our jargon. So if you don't hire someone who's in the wastewater industry, they don't understand when I say CBOD or, WWT or IDEM. This will explain it. Someone can go in and say this word, say CBODs, what does it mean? And AI is going to tell them in common sense language so that they'll understand. I'm really excited about this, but I'll talk more as months go on and we start working on this. Besides that, everything else has been going good. We finished the flooring in the plant, so that's all back up and going. We're all organized there now. We had no violations from IDEM. Everything's been running really well. Any questions? As far as our clarifiers and everything is completed as our construction. We're waiting for NIPSCO to approve the startup of our solar.
That's great. Any other questions? I'm pretty excited about the AI thing too, so.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Commenda, would you like to come up?
Hello, everyone. If you recall, back in the December meeting, I was talking about the failure of the 24-inch pipe over by the interceptor. Well, that got all repaired. We're going to kind of do the landscaping ourselves when the weather permits. I'll be, at the next meeting, I will be bringing that bill. I figured it was going to be kind of salty, and it's $195,000. Okay, I got all the stuff they're gonna. I haven't looked at it. He just called me today and told me about it, so I haven't looked at it yet. But he said he has all the, because we had to keep the bypass on, and the bypass is pretty expensive for each day you have it on. So I'll be bringing that to the board or I'll be putting it in the appropriation and give it to Virginia to pay for it. But I just wanted to let you know how much that costs. That's why lining is so important. When you dig, you're going to pay a pretty price for it compared to the lining. So hopefully, we'll be doing some lining next year, looks like, and hopefully we can continue on and kind of maybe have some kind of maintenance program, at least to do some every year. The other thing is Camelot Estates, the trailer park over off of County Line 6 over there. They had another SSO. Their lift station failed, and it was coming out and running down. It got into the ditch that's there, the storm ditch. It was pretty much kind of a mess. I know Tracy and I will probably be working with them to come up with some kind of solution to this. We've made them do some stuff. They did repair the station last time. Their light was off. They have a light that comes on and flashes when it's in failure. It didn't do that. It was not working. They got that fixed, but when it called out to the office, somehow it didn't get relayed to Pro Pumps to come out and take care of it. So Tracy and I, we did the SSO that Monday. This was Sunday. We did it Monday. And then, and Tracy and I still are going to have to go out there and talk with the park manager and because this is the second one in 6 months?
And item's been out. September was the other one.
Yeah, okay, September, yeah.
Item came out again. Nick was out. He just gave me his report.
So we're going to work on that. They're going to have to do something because that is just something that shouldn't happen. Supposedly every 2 weeks, they're coming out and looking at it, but I don't know if that's true or not. Obviously, if they come out every 2 weeks, we heard it was running for a while, so why did this happen if you're coming out every 2 weeks? So it's something me and Tracy got to kind of dig into and go over there, and whether we got to put them on a agree order or whatever the case may be, we're going to have to do something with that because that's just unacceptable, just unacceptable. The jet trucks pretty much are put away. We just use them when we have issues. We check our trouble spots all the time, and if we have an issue, we bring it out. We had an issue, a resident called us, and Mr. Reuter, not Roto-Rooter, Mr. Reuter said it was our issue. Adam and Rob went out there, they cambered it, the jet truck cleaned it, they cambered it, and it was not our problem. He had a big root ball in his pipe, so, in his lateral. I don't know if this gentleman got that repaired. I don't know if you guys followed up with him yet. No. So I'm sure he did, because if he can't flush his toilet, take a shower, usually that's something you get fixed. So that was, other than that, that's about all the incidents we've had. So everything else, like I said, we're in our kind of our winter maintenance mode now. Jamie will be working on some of the jet trucks here shortly, things that might take a little longer to do, he does during the winter, because in the spring and summer, we're so busy. Anyone have any questions?
Believe I'm good. You too?
All right,
Well,
thank
thank you
you
so much.
Yep.
I don't believe we have any unfinished business, so we'll go to the new business, and we have the Sandy Trails variance request.
Hello, Mayor and board members. I'd first like to publicly apologize to Mr. Commenda at one of our projects, Bauer Farms, today. One of our subcontractors failed to communicate with the city that they were doing a generator test. And he was a great enough guy to have one of his employees there while we were testing the generator for that lift station. So I want to thank Mr. Commenda for that and apologize, and we'll work on communicating better. I believe our engineer, Don Taranga, had communicated with Great Lakes Engineering earlier today, and I don't know if it's an amendment of the request, because we're not seeking a waiver. I think more or less a understanding that we are not going to be putting a flat pipe through the manhole, that we are carrying the pipe's percentage of invert through the manholes from one side to another. So I think on the plat will need to be corrected as it's shown. And for anyone that doesn't have a copy, I've got extras with me if you need one. But I believe the way Mr. Taranga had laid out the plat was that he only showed the invert in the center of the manhole, and that he needs to amend it to show the invert on either side of the manholes or wherever the pipes are coming into, to show that there is an elevation change between entrance and exit. Neil.
Yeah, if I could help a little bit.
Thank you, John.
Basically, our general standard is that we have 1/10 of a foot of fall through a manhole to achieve, make sure our manholes stay clean. That's our general standard. I don't know that it's written into the code, but that's how we typically like to see things laid out. The fact is that for this subdivision, they want to vary from that and maintain the pipe slope through the manhole, so it's much less than 1/10 of a foot through a manhole. The benefit is that by not doing the 1/10 of a foot, they don't have to put a lift station in. So they can achieve full gravity service for the subdivision, get connected to our system without having to put in a lift station. That's a good thing for everybody, certainly us, since we're the ones that end up owning and operating that lift station. So it's a variance from our normal standard, but we're okay with it in terms of they're going to maintain a slope through the manhole. That's very important. And number two, this would be subject to their being able to get this design permitted through IDEM, because every sanitary sewer extension has to get an IDEM permit. So I would recommend that you approve that we vary from our normal standard, allowing for consistent slope through the manhole, but less than a 1/10 of a foot, subject to their receiving a IDEM construction permit. And Dan and I have talked, and we're willing to make this, to vary from the standard, given the fact that the only option, if we were to follow it, would be to put a lift station in. And we certainly don't want a lift station for this subdivision. So we're recommending that you approve the variance.
Motion to approve the variance for Sandy Trails.
I'll second. And we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I believe, I don't know if it made its way onto the agenda, but we did have another request. My counterpart, Steve Kill, sent a letter to Mr. Commenda asking that, or informing him that the generator test was successful today for the Bauer Farms lift station, and asking that it be accepted with the condition or caveat that we do have another test for the telemetry on next Thursday, that it only be accepted if that test passes.
Mr. Hannon, is that, or Mr. Commenda, who's the person to check on that on our end?
Yeah, okay, so,
And Dan, you're, nothing against this, but anytime something's added like to the agenda, like with an email, I always want to make sure we do all our homework, you know?
yeah, that's because, okay, so what happened is, when we first checked the lift station, the generator, the wiring was not right, so they had to get that fixed. Well, they ended up getting it fixed, and when they wanted to test it, which was today, they didn't notify us that they were going to test it. So I proceeded to chew on some people's, chewed on some people.
I've seen you do it.
Yeah,
And
so.
I appreciate it when you do it.
It was well deserved.
So and then they sent me this letter asking if we could get this approved today. I was pretty upset, and I felt like just waiting. But as long as we can accept the station, it doesn't matter if, this is just for the board to know and to have it documented that it is, that we accept the station and take responsibility for it. So I have no problem taking responsibility for it. I talked to the lift station people, I've talked to Bob, and all of them said, yeah, everything's fine, and, we can accept the station now. So if the board would approve accepting this station, that would be fine. Because like I said, I read them the Riot Act.
And the test was done in such a way that that had it been scheduled correctly, we would have just as easily said that it worked. Is that what you're saying?
Right, yeah, it was just, they fixed it and didn't say anything. And then they tested it and didn't let us know. And then we get a call half an hour before they're ready to test it. Hey, did you know we're testing this generator today? No, we didn't. So basically, it was bad communication. Not to mention, too, the lift station also was about 3/4 of the way full.
How does that happen?
Because they put the model house, well, there's several different reasons.
And I apologize. I mean,
No.
no one's living in the house, right? Like,
There-
what's going on?
There is a model home, okay? And sometimes, and I'm not gonna say this happened, because it's kind of hard to tell what happened, but if they have a foundation in and it rains, the water gets in there, they're supposed to pump it out. Well, some plumbers decide they just want to turn the sub pump on and put the water all in our system, okay? We did find that once over at Brookside, and we did get on them about it, and they quit doing it. But I'm not saying that happened, you know?
Sure.
Now, you know, some of them things, sometimes you could have laterals, and they've been building houses. Something could have even been open, and the groundwater was getting in it. I mean, there's several different causes for that.
Normally, that shouldn't be happening, though,
No,
with the groundwater
normally
getting
it
in.
shouldn't happen. You're right, you're correct.
So I guess where I'm asking is, isn't that part of the test to make sure that, I mean, if you got a brand-new thing, shouldn't there not already be
Yeah,
water leaking into it?
We did the mandrel test, we did the air test, that was all done, and the video. It was all done, everything was, I think they
Okay.
had one issue that they had to fix, I believe, but everything was tested, and the air test tested to make sure there isn't no leaks.
Okay, so it is verified there's no leaks?
Yes.
Okay, and
This
as for, and that's where you can't speculate exactly on how it ended up full,
Correct.
but the test itself showed that there wasn't the
Correct.
leaks.
Correct.
Yes, it was more than likely construction water from the house,
Sure.
or model home.
Thank you for explaining. Sorry, that can be kind of tough too, but I mean, you know,
Oh, it's fine,
yeah.
We will also, we're looking to,
as long as I got an answer.
we will also be looking to final plat the second phase of Phase 1 for Bauer Farms. So we will also be providing a maintenance bond for the lift station that will be included. Because right now it's under performance bond to make sure that it's built to city standards. And if we fail to do so, the city has the ability to pull the maintenance bond to make sure that it's constructed to city standards. So that'll be converting over to a maintenance bond, generally a 2-year maintenance bond, to make sure that for the next 2 years that it operates as it should.
Motion to approve the Bauer Farm lift station.
All second? And then all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
That gets us to the lift station request to obtain bids, Lockmuller Group.
We can do them all at the same time.
Is that another way of saying request to do lift station bids?
Yes.
Okay, no problem.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just being
So-
goofy, sorry.
Andrew's here, I'm here, Tracy and Dan, and we're asking to authorize bids for actually 3 projects. The North Side Interceptor project, of course. The lift station projects are the projects that are being designed by Lockmuller, but that also includes the proposed new UV system at the wastewater treatment plant. And finally, to take bids for the CIPP project, the pipelining project. So this is a big deal.
Absolutely.
We've got 30-some million dollars worth of work that we're proposing to take bids for. And Andrew will describe the schedule, because I don't have it in front of me.
Thanks, John. We've coordinated this, as John said, it is a big deal. We're coordinating this with the funding agency. We're also coordinating it with the bond counsel and the rate consultants related to all of this. As of, so we'll say late last year, there was discussion of the schedule that would work with the financing agency. This schedule that we're presenting to you today for the bids is in accordance with that request from the funding agency. What we have is today the request for the bid authorization. The first ad would go out January 21st. The second ad would go out January 28th. We propose to hold a pre-bid meeting on January 30th for these projects so that we can explain what we're doing to the contractors, help them to understand the intricacies of the projects. After the pre-bid, we are expecting a bid receipt on February 18th. We had shown that at 5 p.m. That would be presumably a special sanitary board meeting, assuming that that works for this board. Then, because of the timing, we're also asking for consideration for a special board meeting on February 27th at 5 p.m. to provide recommendation to the board. That's a very quick turnaround time. As you can see by the numbers of the days in between, we feel that that's possible, but even more than the feeling that that's possible, that's what we need to do for the funding agency for the projects. That is the ask, gentlemen, that we approve authorization of these 3 projects to go out for bids with the schedule that I just described.
If I could ask a question on the legal side, should this be 3 separate motions? I know it's being presented as a, because then I understand why, because of the cohesiveness of it in terms of how it's actually being done, but would it be better to have us approve them for our own board purposes separately?
I mean, the minutes would be more concise, but legally, I think you could do the notice in all in one motion, but either do the motion to be very clear, or do 3 motions.
Gotcha.
Motion to approve the obtaining of bids for 3 projects, the lift stations, the North Side Interceptor, and the pipelining request.
I'll second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that gets us to item 5, buyer agency agreement, contract with Macaulay. Now I understand why Bill is here.
He's trying to figure it out.
Once
Good
upon a
evening,
time,
Mayor.
this was one board, and now it's,
Yep.
two, yeah.
Now we're on the other. We were contacted concerning the Northside Interceptor project and another project as well to obtain some utility easements from some property owners. In order to do that, as we've done with other boards, by the state requirement now, we need a buyer agency agreement to act on your behalf. We've already started the contacts with all 5 property owners. As soon as we can put together an easement agreement that they would like to see before agreeing to it, we'll work out the numbers with them, but we're already started with it. But I'd ask for tonight that you grant permission to sign the buyer agency agreement for Macaulay.
I'll make that motion to accept the buyer agency agreement with Macaulay Realtors.
And I will second. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
And then we have the claims. Did everybody get a chance, or did you get a chance to look at the claims?
I did look at the claims. I did not have any questions. Motion to pay the claims for $399,461.35.
And I will second. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any other business to be brought before the board? Yes, Mr. Hannon. Oh, I think I know what this is about.
I'll bet you, this is like deja vu all over again. So,
Yes.
welcome to 2025. You have before you our proposed engineering agreement with the Sanitary Board. Tracy's had a chance to see it. Liz and Virginia have seen it, and I believe the attorneys had a chance to review it. It's basically the same contract as last year, same services, same rates.
Council has had the opportunity to review and has no issues.
Motion to accept the Great Lakes Engineering contract.
And I'll second. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you
you very much.
And then do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second, and although it sounds a little silly, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And we're good.